Hey guys, welcome to Sippin' and Spillin' with Sid from 3 Mississippi. How did this get so high and me so low? We're gonna adjust. We're gonna adjust. Oh, now I'm very close. That's better-ish, maybe, not at all. I don't know. See how, this is life. This is life. There we go. That's better. That's a little better. Hi, welcome to Sippin' and Spillin'. Man, we're having a little storm right now. Today has been kind of a little bit all over the place. I was working on a short that I posted earlier today. I was finishing up getting Friday's video ready for you guys. And then I got the phone call that my meat birds were in Tupelo. And which is fine. Sometimes as they're coming, which depending on where they're coming from exactly, the birds will land in Tupelo first. And that means if they miss the cutoff to come to our town that day, that means they stay overnight. So when they've called me and let me know that they're in Tupelo, if I'm able to, I go get them, which so far every time they've called me, I've made it kind of a priority. One time it was for my geese and I was like, I'd really rather go get them than have them sit in the post office under a vent, you know? So anyway, so I had to go into town to a dentist appointment, and then I had to go pick up some feed and run some errands. I had gotten called for jury duty, so I had to stop by the courthouse because it's the week of, what do you call it? The YouTube meetup, the Mid-America meetup at Eufaula Lake. Eufaula. There you go. I think I said it right, Auntie Ann. Anyway, so I called them and they're like, you just need to come by and fill a form out. And I'm like, okay. So I really had to just write on a piece of paper. This is why I love a small town. I literally wrote, they have like a little form, and I just wrote, I will be out of town, and wrote my name. That was it. Like, that was it. And I was like, so now what? And she was like, that's it, nothing. And I was like, are you gonna like send me another one in a couple of weeks? Or like, how does that work? And she's like, no, that was it. Like, you might get called up again at some point, but that was it. And I was like, really? I was like, that is not how they do it back home. Anyway, we ended up having a lovely chat. And I made a new friend. So anyway, so it turns out our kids are in the same grade. And so we were just kind of chit-chatting, and she wanted to know all about me because, you know, new people in a small town, when you run into them, is kind of like I guess seeing a unicorn when you've lived in the same town your whole life. So, but she was super cool, and we chatted for a while, and it was good. It was funny because the other gal that was in the office actually had lived in California for a little while, and she and I swear we recognized each other. Like, her name sounded familiar, she looked familiar. She also looked a little bit like one of my old neighbors, and I thought maybe she just looks familiar because she looks a little bit like her, but then her name sounded familiar too, but we could not place each other. And we were doing the whole, like, what church do you go to? You know, the whole, like, where you go to do this, and where have I seen you kind of thing, and we can't figure it out, so I don't know. But yeah, so I told her, I said, we'll think of it at like 3 a.m. of where we know each other from. But it does us no good right now. But anyway, I'm a little dressed up today. I'm kind of in like what I would wear to church, you know, because we're going to I don't know what the actual title of it is, but it's like the Women in Your Life Appreciation Night at the lodge for the Masons. And so now that Mike is a Mason, we're going to that. And so Frankie and I are going. I think Mike thought it was just the wife appreciation thing, but I guess it's like women in your household appreciation. I don't know. Anyway, so we're both going to that, and we were trying to figure out tomorrow, or I guess today, as you see this. My goal is, and there's a chance that the weather could be like bad. If the weather's really bad, I won't process birds. But from what it looks like right now, I should be okay, like until like 4 o'clock. So, and I would hope to be done by then. So, like way done by then. My goal is to do at least 20 birds tomorrow, and bang those out. I'll film a little bit of that, just because people always like to see the updated processing videos, so I'll film a little bit of that, and I'm going to try to get some of it set up tonight for all the things I need, because setting it up and breaking it down is what takes the most amount of time, really, because it's just, there's a lot of little pieces, and they never end up in the same place that I left them when I did it last time. It's always a thing. So anyway, I'll have to be on the hunt for a few things, but I did tell Mike, or I didn't tell him, I asked him if he would please set up the plucker for me, because you got to run a hose to it, and then you have to get it, you know, run the cord and do the plug it in. Now it can be plugged into the shop now that the shop's electrical is happy, which will make life easier, but I still needs set up. And I'm like, can you just set that part up for me and I will do the rest? And then he and Frankie are going to do the bagging, weighing, and labeling. So I just have to do the dirty work, which is fine. And I'll be, you know, I'll put the big cage in the back of the truck probably, and load up a few birds and just drive over to where I'm processing and just work out of the back of the truck as far as pulling birds out, and do it that way. Might make it easier for me. And I think I'm going to try to do the smaller ones in the run right now, and then let the bigger ones get a little bit bigger, because I did not get very many roosters in this last batch. I would say it's probably 75% hens, if I had to put a number on it. So not very many roosters in this batch. The batch I just picked up, nice and healthy looking, so far so good. They were a little bit damp underneath, because we did have a couple little rain showers around the south here between when they left and shipped last night to now. And so hopefully they didn't seem like they were any worse for the wear. But so I've got them on the side with the runner ducks and the one exotic chick that honestly looks like, I have to look at its markings. I have a hard time telling when they're chicks what the chicken is, right? I don't have that gift, and there's so many chicks that look very similar but are very different breeds. It looks like a Easter egg or a little bit, but its legs are the wrong color. But I know with them a lot of times too, their legs kind of change color when they get a little bit older. But its markings look like it could be. So we'll see. I don't know. I might try to Google it and see. It's just like my rooster that I have was one of my free chicks, and I have no idea what he is, because he looked like a juvenile bird for like a year and a half, and then all of a sudden he just went and became a rooster, and I was like, bro. But he was like the slowest growing bird I've ever had in my life, and I don't know what he is. I have no idea. He's the sweetest rooster. Next to like some frizzles that I've had before, he is the absolute sweetest rooster. He's never attacked me. He leaves me alone. He's gentle with the girls. He's a peach, really. Because even Rico, that you see at the beginning of our opening on the main channel, he would get feisty every once in a while and kind of want to fly at me, and I'd have to check him real quick. But this guy never. And we've had him for, gosh, a while. He's probably 2.5 years old now, I would say. Close to it. He was from the first batch of birds we got when we came here, I'm pretty sure. So anyway, but yeah, got them all settled in the brooder. I'm debating. Here's my dilemma. You guys can tell me what you think in the comments. So right now we have the brooder split. I have a narrow section where I have the 3 Orpington chicks that I got probably about a month ago. I have to go back and look. I don't know off the top of my head. I think it was about a month ago. And then I've got my turkey poults in there, and one Easter egger in there. I think that's all that's in there, right? Yeah. And I already took the Americanas and the one barred rock that were in there out because they were a little bit older. So I already moved them out with the big girls, and they've been doing fine. So they're in this narrow stretch. Well, they're getting to that point where they like to roost. So they're getting up on the divider and sitting along the top, which is fine. And sometimes one gets into the big side and then like has to remember that it can fly it back out. You know, it's a whole thing because they forget. They're not always very bright. The other side, I have the runner ducks. I have my big heat plate, so I can fit everybody under there. I've got the runner ducks and the 50 meat chicks that are like a day old, 2 days old probably. What I'm thinking I might do is move everybody over to the big side. I need to scrape out the small side because it's due to be cleaned. Scrape that out and then put new shavings, pull the border wall out and let them all be together for about the next couple of weeks. And then what I'll need to do is redivide it. See, now as long as I redivide it, because I'll need, see, so here's my other problem. I've got goslings that will be hopefully hatching middle of May. The little chick that I have in there right now and the runner ducks will get bigger faster because ducks and geese always grow faster. So they can stay with those birds for a while. That's not gonna be a problem. But the little whatever chick will get trampled. So it'll need to be, hopefully it bulks up enough. Sometimes they don't. I might, you know what I'm gonna have to do? I'm gonna have to play it by ear is what I'm gonna have to do, because I could maybe move them all together at least for like 2.5 weeks. Usually when you hit that 3-week mark with the meat birds, that's when they start to, and when they hit that point where they just, and you guys, if you've ever raised meat birds, you know the point I'm talking about, where they just go from, this morning they looked like chicks and now they look like dinosaurs. And they just, and it literally happens in the span of like 12 hours where you go in there and you're like, oh my goodness, now you look like a little monster. So that being said, I could give them a couple of weeks, and then by then I'm thinking the turkeys and the other couple of chicks on that side will be ready to go into Gen Pop, and then I only have to worry about this one random chick that I have, and you know, everybody else will be fine together. So we'll see. I may do that, and just kind of let that happen, but we'll see. We'll see. Not sure. And then we're going to work on the electric fencing for the strip grazing that we need to start doing, because we have to run a line. It's a 2-step process. We have to run an electric hotline in with the lambs, the new ewes that are in there, because they are not hot wire trained. So in order to do the strip grazing, we need to have them understanding the electric fence first and respectful of it so that it keeps them where they need to be. And so we're going to run a hotline around the inside, let them get used to that. I'm also going to start bringing in the livestock guardian dogs on their leash, tying them up in there, sitting with them, getting them to understand that like this is part of your flock too, and starting to do that introduction. They've been getting to know each other through the fence line, and there hasn't been any issues like, you know, the dogs haven't tried to get through the fence or get to them or bark at them or do anything crazy. I think they understand. They see me in there, you know, taking care of them and doing all the things. They're very smart when it comes to that. Just like, you know, all the barn cats I've ever had have never attacked any of my chicks. They have all brought me a bird or two every now and then, but they never have gone after any of my birds. And I think they understand, like, those are mom's birds. I need to go get my own bird. Like, I don't know, but I've never had a problem with it. I used to have Max at the old house, and he thought he was a chicken. He would sleep in the chicken coop with them, and even when there were chicks out there, like, he just was, that they were just part of the fam, you know. That was their thing. And he would eat kitchen scraps right alongside the chickens because he thought he was a chicken. But he was a really good mouser and stuff too. He would catch big honking ones out in the field like rats almost, and hop over the fence with them. And I'm like, just finish killing it before you bring it over here, right? But anyway, that being said, I've never had a problem with it. So anyway, that's what I think I'm going to do. Friday, work on processing those birds. They're probably going to bag and tag them on Saturday morning because we like to let them sit in the ice overnight. And then at some point between Friday evening and Saturday morning, I will do my whirlwind of, not that I don't clean the house every day, but like I'm talking like scrub the toilets, mop the floors, do the whole thing, and get that going. And then we'll be working on the fencing. and then that's it. Then probably drop from exhaustion after that, because a full day of processing by yourself can be a little tiring. Like usually my back and my hip is like mad at me after that, because it's a lot of standing and bending and reaching and doing, and it gets to be a little bit. So I may just want to go sit in my recliner after that, like zone out for a few hours before I even go to bed, just to like, take one of my Flexeril and let my back calm down. But yeah, so that's what's happening this weekend, and right now. So, but I gotta get ready to go to dinner with them. Not that I'm not ready, but I gotta go probably. You have your routine. You gotta take the dogs back outside. You gotta fill the water bowl before you leave. You gotta, do all the things. And then when there's a thunderstorm, we have to make sure we keep the bathroom doors closed, or Lundy will get in the shower, and she's broken 2 showers now, end of the day. So we now just close all the bathroom doors when we leave the house during a thunderstorm. And that's also even when they've had their drugs. So it's fine. It's fine. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you. Don't forget to check out the video today on 3 Mississippi. Got to tour another farm a little bit there, and kind of not really tour it, but got to go see it. And Cody Reinhardt, and got some great views from him, so check that out. And yeah, there you go. It's a good old saddle bronc rider, and it's kind of cool. So anyway, appreciate you guys. Stay blessed, and remember, safety's off.